So we're going to go ahead and get started. Today we are going to start lying down on our backs. You will need your yoga blocks to start. So when you are lying down on your back, go ahead and connect the soles of your feet together. And then go ahead and take both yoga blocks and slide them under your knees. So you can choose whether you need a little bit more support and just angle your blocks to the highest level, whether you'd like a medium level of support, or if you're feeling nice and open already this morning, you can go ahead and lay them flat. Yogi's choice. This morning's class is the first of 4 in the series of Zen Reset. And the intention behind this class is really to allow you an opportunity to connect your body, mind, and spirit as we head into yet another week ahead, likely a snowy week by the looks of it. And I really was inspired by the word Zen and had done a little bit of digging, so I do just want to share the definition of that again in the hopes that it can help you set an intention for today's practice. The word Zen means a state of calm attentiveness in which your actions are guided by your intuition rather than any conscious effort. And so throughout today's practice, I invite you to figure out what that means to you in terms of connecting to your intuition, not necessarily overthinking any specific moves or postures, and rather listening to your body as it urges you to guide your movement in one way or another. To choose the theme for today's practice, along with Zen, I am going to be pulling a card from Gabby Bernstein's deck, Super Attractor. If you've heard of Gabrielle Bernstein. So we will allow the card to speak to us and let us know what today's theme is going to be. Hopefully something we can attract for the week ahead. Ooh, lovely. Our card is, as soon as I choose to see the light in the dark corners, I redirect my power towards what I want. As soon as I choose to see the light in the dark corners, I redirect my power towards what I want. So lying exactly where you are on your mat, take a deep inhale and notice how the message of the card lands for you today. How in today's practice, for the remainder of your weekend, and even as you move into the week ahead, will you be inviting yourself to choose light anytime you feel immersed in darkness? How will you choose where to redirect your power to attract what you may need or what you may want? Go ahead and take a nice deep breath into your belly, imagining that breath traversing every muscle in your body to get to your center. Place one hand on your belly and the other hand on your heart. This time, when you inhale, let the breath pass through your heart as it makes its way down to your belly. And on your exhale, send your breath from your belly to your heart and out your mouth with a gentle sigh, releasing what no longer serves you here in this moment. Today's practice is going to include some slow flow sequences and will be more restorative in nature. That being said, listen to your body at all times. You are your most important teacher. And find what feels good. Go ahead and inhale and then release your hands down to your side. Take a moment to remove your blocks out from underneath your knees. Keep them handy nearby. And then the next thing you're going to do is grab hold of your knees and hug them into your chest. On your next inhale, hug a little bit tighter, closer into your body. Notice what it feels like to engage your arms as you pull your legs in towards your body. Beautiful. Good. And then release your left leg down to the mat. Your soul can connect with the mat first, but then eventually walk your left leg out to the far corner of your mat. When you feel grounded equally through both hips, go ahead and hug your right knee into your right armpit. So moving a little bit off towards the right side there as you begin to wake up and open up that right hip. If you're feeling any tension along your right hip, breathe into that space, in through your nose, and now out through your nose. You got it. Begin to walk your hands slowly down your shin to the far end of your foot. And then your choice, whether you hold on to your big toe, whether you hold on to the outside or the inside of your foot, whatever feels most accessible to you, drop your left hand down to the mat beside you, and then go ahead and grab hold of somewhere on your foot, your ankle, your shin. Not cranking too much here as we begin the practice, just warming up those joints and those muscles where our muscles attach, moving into a half happy baby. The sole of your foot should be shining directly up above you. If that feels too inaccessible to do while holding onto your foot, go ahead and slide your hand down a little bit lower. The goal here is not how far you can grab onto, but rather how open your hip can be. Good. Go ahead and release that foot to the ground. Take your feet as wide as your mat. Plant both feet on the ground, and then tap your knees in towards the center a few times. You got it. Extend your right leg all the way out to the far corner of your mat. Draw your left knee in towards your chest, and then begin to slide your left knee a little bit further out towards the left side of your body, imagining your left knee being pulled into your left armpit. The toes on your right extended leg are flexed towards your face, so we maintain engagement throughout the right side of our body, although we're stretching the left side. You got it. Inhale, pull a little bit closer into your body, your left knee. Beautiful. And then begin to walk your hand towards your foot, your left foot. Right foot stays exactly where it is, and then choose where you're going to hold on to. On this side, it can be the same and it can be different. Notice what feels different on your left side compared to your right side. Wherever you're holding on to, you're going to imagine that your knee is being anchored down into your armpit. So in the head of your arm bone, the sole of your left foot is pointing up towards the sky. Think grounding down through both hip points, and you'll begin to feel a nice stretch along the back of your leg moving in towards your hip. Inhale deeply into your nose. Exhale deeply out through your nose. Beautiful, you got it. Release your foot from your hand. Take your feet as wide as your mat. And this time, instead of tapping inwards, send both knees towards the right side of your mat. Back up through center. And then to the left side of your mat. So rocking back and forth here. Just massaging out the front of those hip points, moving into your psoas muscle. Find stillness here. Keep your feet as wide as your mat. Connect your knees in the center. Place your right hand on your belly, your left hand on your heart, and invite your eyes to close just for a moment. Taking this as an opportunity to check in with your intuition, the most important ingredient for your Zen. And if you start to notice your mind wandering, simply notice without judgment. Beautiful. Blink your eyes open slowly. Extend your left leg out towards the far end of your mat. Hug your right knee in towards your chest, and then begin to send your right knee over to the left side of your room. Moving into a spinal twist here, your right arm is grounded down to the outside of your mat and landing where your foot feels comfortable. If you're starting to notice too deep of a stretch on the outside of your right hip, just stop where you start to feel any tension or pulling. And then options to keep your left hand on top of your right knee or to allow your left hand down towards the mat. Perhaps your gaze turns towards the left side of the room. Beautiful. One more deep breath in here. Exhale, perhaps twist a little bit deeper. And then inhale to return out of your twist. Hug both knees in towards your chest. You got it. Exhale, send your right leg out towards the far edge of your mat. Begin to swing your left leg over your right leg, making its way to a twist on the other side. Left arm is grounded down through your palm. Options here to hold on to your left outer left knee or to drop your right hand down to your body, down to the floor. Gaze can stay looking upwards, or this time drop your right cheek towards the mat. Noticing what it feels like here to allow your body to surrender for just a moment. Beautiful. And then inhale to return out of your twist. Hug both knees in towards your chest just for a moment. Perhaps find a little gentle rock from side to side. When you feel like you've released any tension there, release your knees and slowly begin to make your way into a tabletop position on your hands and knees. As you set up for your tabletop position, a few cues here to make sure you've got good alignment. Your middle fingers are pointing towards the top of your mat. Your wrist creases are parallel to the top of your mat and dart tracing directly underneath your shoulder blades. You got it. Okay, so right here in tabletop position, inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze. Exhale, curl through your spine, chin to chest, tuck your hips in towards your body. Good. Inhale, drop your belly, lifting your head slightly. Exhale, curl chin to chest, round through your spine. Pressing away from the mat here. Inhale, keep your arms engaged, drop your belly, lift your gaze. Exhale one more time into cat pose, around through your spine. Finding a neutral spine on your next inhale. Keep your back toes curled under, arms exactly where they are. Root down through all four corners of your hands. And then begin to slowly turn your head to look over your shoulder at your right hip. So your head is going over your right shoulder, looking towards your right hip. Your left hip may stick out a little bit. That's fine. You're moving into a little bit of a side bend here. Where you feel the stretch here is on the opposite side, along the left side of your torso. Inhale to return to center. Exhale to the other side. Gaze comes over your left shoulder, towards your left hip. Good. Return to center. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale, look over your right shoulder, towards your right hip. Perhaps twisting a little bit deeper here in your side bend this time around. And then return through center. Check in with your hands. They're supporting you equally. Invite a little bit of a micro bend in your elbows here so that you're not hyperextending through your arms. And then over onto the other side, over your left shoulder, towards your left hip. You got it. Return to center. Good. Take a moment to release any tension in your wrists if you need to. And then finding stillness here, keep your left foot exactly where it is and kick your right heel backwards in space. Land through your toes, wherever that is. Moving into a little bit of a calf stretch here, begin to slide forward. So you're going to be rocking forward on your hands here. If your wrists are aching already, go ahead and find fists with your hands so that we take a little bit of that pressure off the bending of the wrist. And we're going to continue to slide forward, pushing back through our heel when we go backwards. Good, as if we need to press a button, but it's underneath our heel. And then inhale, slide forward. Exhale, slide back. Inhale, slide forward. Exhale, slide back. Good, do that one more time with your own breath. Exhale. You got it. All right, come back to center. Drop your right knee down towards the mat. Ground, if you're on your fists, go ahead and ground down through your left palm just for a moment here. Walk your left palm one or two steps a little bit forward, so just in front of you, and then inhale, lift your right arm all the way up to the sky. So moving into an open twist here. Just before we thread the needle, sliding your right arm underneath your left arm. Not dropping just yet. We're going to come back up. Inhale, arm up to the sky. You got it. Exhale, thread the needle. You got it. Inhale, up to the sky. Exhale, this time when threading the needle, drop your right forearm down towards the mat. Find a place that feels comfortable for your left hand and begin to sit your hips back towards your heels. Perhaps drawing your right ear closer to the mat. Finding a nice opening stretch here along the back of your shoulders. You got it. Breathing deeply here. Using your oxygen to replenish you. Letting your inhales and exhales move intuitively in and out of your body. On your next inhale, unspiral yourself, plant your right hand down towards the mat, and then sit your hips back to your heels, puppy dog pose. Walk your fingertips forward, tense your fingertips. Head stays lifted. Armpits stay lifted. You got it. Walk yourself back to tabletop position. Kick your left heel back out in space. Plant down through your left toes. This is your opportunity to give your wrists a break and prop yourself up on your fists if you need to. Find whatever feels good, and then inhale, slide forward into your arms. Engage your arms, and then exhale, slide backwards in space as if a button is underneath your left heel. Try to hit that button. Good. Inhale, slide forward. Exhale, slide back. Really stretching out the back of your calf here. Inhale, slide forward. Exhale, slide back. Check in with your elbows. Make sure that your arms are not hyperextended. So you've got a little bit of a micro bend in your elbows. That just engages your arm muscles instead of placing too much pressure on your joint. Just continue to rock back and forth. Just a couple more times. Stretching out your calf muscle. Often something that feels really good for those of us who spend a lot of our day driving. You got it. Find stillness here. Drop your left knee down towards the mat in a tabletop position. Walk your right hand out in front of your face. Just a few inches there. Inhale, lift your left arm up towards the sky, moving into an open twist on the other side. Follow your fingertips with your gaze. And then exhale, begin to thread the needle. Left arm comes underneath your right shoulder. Don't drop just yet. Inhale, we're coming all the way back up. You got it. Exhale, slide through. Good. Follow your fingertips with your gaze. Inhale once more up to the sky. Exhale, this time go ahead and plant your forearm down on the mat. Walk your right hand forward if you need to. And then begin to slowly drop your left ear down towards the mat. Wherever you are, I want you to draw your attention to the space between your shoulder blades on your back body. And I want you to direct your next in-breath right to that space. You got it. Beautiful. Inhale here. And exhale. Good. On your next in-breath, unspiral yourself. Move back into a tabletop position. This time, take your knees as wide as your mat. Connect your feet towards the center of your mat. Untuck your toes. Walk your hands slightly forward and then sit your hips back towards your heels. Balasana, child's pose. Allow your forehead to gently make contact with the mat. Breathing into the space between your shoulder blades and your hip joints now, along the side of your torso. One more deep breath in. One more deep breath out. You got it. And then walk yourself back up to a tabletop position. Walk your knees underneath your hips. You're going to want to pivot now to the long edge of your mat. So just turn yourself around to face the long edge of your mat. Keep your right foot exactly where it is. So your right toes may be off your mat. That's completely fine. Walk your right hand outside your right knee. Good. And then kick your left leg out towards the far edge of your mat. So the back of your mat, if you've turned this way. Good. I really want you to think about grounding down through the outer edge of your left foot here. You got it. Option here, if the floor is feeling a little too far away from you, to prop your hand up onto a block. You want to imagine that you've got a nice even line going from the top of your head all the way down to the outside of your foot there. So wherever you are, find what feels good. Good. And then inhale, lift your left arm all the way up and overhead. Good. This is modified side plank. On your next inhale, I want you to think engaging your core as you allow yourself to come up to a stand, a modified stand, I should say. Your arms come out to a T. Exhale, drop your left hand down to your extended leg. Right arm comes up towards the sky. Feeling into that stretch along the right side of your body. Inhale back towards a T. You got it. Exhale back towards the other side. Right arm comes towards the mat. Left hand goes up. Good. Inhale back towards a T, really engaging your core here, feeling into your obliques as they lift you up and down in this gate pose flow. Back to center. Right arm down to the floor. Left arm up to the sky. This time when your right arm is down, drop your left bicep towards your left ear, reaching through your left fingertips. Good. Extending that line even further. And then notice if you start to collapse in towards the front of your body. See if you can spiral your left shoulder backwards in space. Perhaps your gaze comes up towards the sky. Notice how that shines your heart forward instead of down. You got it. And then unwind yourself. You're going to come all the way back through tabletop position, walking yourself to the other side. I'm just flipping the side of the mat, so I'm facing you still. Good. Go ahead, and your left toes are now off the edge of your mat. Your right toes kick to the far side of your mat. For me, that's the front of the mat. Left hand is grounded down outside your left knee, either on the mat or up on a block. You got it. Right arm comes up towards the sky. Inhale. Good. This time we're starting on the opposite side. Drop your right hand down to your right ear. So your right bicep makes contact, or imagines to make contact, with your right ear. Good. Checking in here that you've got that outer spiral going on with your shoulder. Gaze towards the sky. Perhaps reach a little bit further. If you'd like to feel a deeper stretch, go ahead and remove the block if you're using one. Feeling the stretch all the way along your hip flexor down the outside of your leg. Good. And then inhale, we're going to come up, engage your core into a T. Good. Exhale, drop your right hand, lift your left hand up towards the sky. Good. Back to a T. Follow your breath now. I'm going to let you guide yourself on this side. One breath per position. Finding a flow here in your gate pose on the opposite side. Noticing what rhythm your breath intuitively calls comfortable for you. Perhaps it's slower or faster than what I was guiding you through. Let your intuition guide you here through one more cycle. You got it. And then when you're back up into a T position, the next time you're here, tuck your extended leg in towards your body. Good. Inhale, lift both arms up towards the sky. Exhale, swan dive them down. And then begin to pivot yourself to face the front of your mat. Remove your block if you are using one to prop your hand up. Good. When here, keep your toes tucked under behind you. Press into all four corners of your hands. So find good arm alignment here. Little micro bend in your elbow. And then inhale. Exhale, lift your hips up and back into space, moving into our first downward dog of today's practice. Pedaling out through your heels and noticing what it feels like in your calf muscles after you did a little bit of calf stretching there. Just taking a moment to pedal one heel down at a time. One heel goes down and the opposite knee bends, as if you're walking but not moving in space. Good. Find stillness in your downward facing dog. Inhale, look between your palms, slide forward into a high plank position. Good. When in high plank, option to lower your knees down to the mat or stay exactly where you are. As you lower your body down, Chaturanga Dandasana, untuck your toes, press into your palms. Inhale, lift your chest to rise into your back bend, cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhale, curl your toes under, pike your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Find stillness right away here in your downward facing dog. Inhale, look between your palms. And then exhale, this time take baby steps, one step at a time to make it to the top of your mat. When at the top of your mat, release your torso and fold forward. You got it. Inhale to a halfway lift, slide your fingertips up towards your shins, extend through your crown. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, root to rise, ground down through all four corners of your feet, and then reach all the way up with both arms. Interlace your fingers here, extend just your index fingers up towards the sky. You got it. Take your feet just as hip distance apart, so the hip width apart. Good, ground down through all four corners. Inhale, extend through your fingertips overhead. Keep your hips even here, and then think up and over as you begin to do an arcing motion over to the right side of your body. So we want to avoid sticking our hips out. We want to have even footing between both hips here as we think up and over, originating this stretch from the torso, the side body. Good. Inhale, return back to center. Exhale, up and over to the other side. So keep your hips even and grounded here. Good. Return to center. This time we're going to do the same thing up and over on the other side, on the right side. And when here, I want you to spiral your left shoulder backwards in space. Look underneath your left elbow up towards the sky. Good. Inhale, return to center. Reach all the way up. Deep breath in. Exhale, up and over to the left side. Spiral your right shoulder back in space. This time your gaze comes underneath your right elbow towards the sky. Good. Exhale, return to center. Wherever you are here in space, drop both arms beside you, just for a moment, giving them a little bit of a rest. Inhale, both arms up towards the sky. Exhale, send your right fingertips forward, your left fingertips back. Moving into an open twist here with Tadasana or mountain legs. You got it. Good. And then inhale, return back to center. Both fingertips are facing forward. On your next exhale, send your right fingertips back to the back of your mat. Your gaze follows your back fingertips. Good. Inhale, send your right fingertips forward. Exhale, left fingertips back, twisting open on the other side. Check to see if your hips are following you. If that's the case, invite them gently to face forward, only sending your arm as far back as you can. Inhale, both fingertips forward. Exhale, send your right fingertips back. Gaze travels back with you. We're not looking for perfection in this pose, just flexibility of the spine. Inhale, both arms forward. Good. Exhale, fold forward. You got it. Beautiful. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward, plant your palms and step back into a high plank position. Right here in your high plank position, stay grounded through your left palm evenly. Lift your right arm up and tap your left shoulder. Good. Exhale, drop your right hand down. Inhale, tap your right shoulder. Good. Opposite hand to opposite shoulder, creating a little bit of a twist here as you do so. Good. Keep your core engaged and then find stillness here in your high plank position. Drop your knees down towards the mat. Slide forward slightly. Good. So I'll show you what that looks like. Slide forward slightly with your elbows engaged and then lower down to the mat. Untuck your toes here. Walk your hands outside your mat. So your fingertips are no longer on your mat. They're just outside. Tent your fingertips here. Moving into a few cycles of baby cobra. Inhale, lift your torso all the way up to your chest. So you're not cranking so that your belly comes off. Just baby lifts here. Exhale, release. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. Elbows are bent and pointing towards the sky. Inhale to lift up. You got it. Exhale, lower down. One more time. Inhale, lift up. Ground down through your quad muscles here, your front of your thighs. Exhale, lower down. Walk your hands underneath your shoulders. Press up through tabletop position. Curl your toes under. And then lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Finding any creative movement here in downward facing dog that might feel good for your body. You got it. Beautiful. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back behind you. And then exhale, swing your right leg between your hands, step through, lower your left knee down towards the mat, grab hold of your blocks, take them to the outside of your hips. You got it. Lunge into your front foot so that your right knee is tracing directly over your right ankle. Stand tall through your crown. Good. So you may only be touching your blocks with your fingertips. That's fine. And then walk your right foot forward, just 2 wiggles. That is my unit of measurement. 2 wiggles. Lunge into your front leg, feeling a nice stretch along your left hip flexor into the left quadricep muscle. Breathe in here. And then exhale, begin to sit your hips back, not all the way back, as you peel your front toes off the mat, moving into a half split position. Toes begin to flex towards the face. Walk your foot out further if you need to. Good. Flex your pinky toe, your baby toe, up towards your left shoulder. Keep a little micro bend in your front knee. This is half Hanuman, half splits. You got it. And then inhale, walk your foot back down, slowly lunging into your right knee. Feeling that stretch along your hip flexor. We're going to move through a bit of a flow here now that you know the alignment. Inhale, sit your hips back. Good. Exhale, lunge forward. Inhale, sit your hips back. Pinky toe pointing towards your opposite shoulder. Exhale, slide forward. Lunge into your front leg. Good. Inhale to go back. Toes are flexed. Exhale. Moonwalk your foot back down. Good. Remove your blocks just for a moment. Walk your right foot back a couple wiggles to its original position. So you've got your right knee stacked over top of your right ankle. Ground down through your left hand. Good. So you've got your left hand on the inside of your right foot. And then with your back toes curled under, send your right hand up towards the sky, moving into a low lunge twist here. Notice if your right knee is starting to splay open, see if you can keep it right tracing over your right ankle. And engaged. Breathe for one more breath. You got it. Exhale, drop your right hand to the inside of your right foot. Swing your right leg all the way back in space into downward facing dog. And then pedal out for just a moment before you find stillness. See if you notice a difference in sensation between your right and your left leg before we move to the other side. Good. If you haven't already, find stillness in your downward facing dog, and then inhale, extend your left leg back behind you. Exhale, swing your left leg through between your palms, plant your left foot down. Good. Drop your back knee down towards the mat, grab hold of your blocks. Place them on either side of your hips. Slide your left foot forward a couple wiggles this time. And once you've done that, lunge into your left foot. Beautiful. All right, back toes are curled under. Inhale to sit your hips back. Begin to peel your left toes up towards your face. Sitting your left hip down in space. Check that your baby toe, your pinky toe on your left foot's pointing to your opposite shoulder. Inhale, lunge forward. You got it. Exhale, sit your hips back. Perhaps you feel like you're able to lower your blocks to a different level or remove them altogether. There's no right way to do this. Just find what feels good and supportive. Moving with your breath through your half Hanuman flow. Lunging on the breath in. Moving into half splits on the breath out. Really feeling that stretch extending from your calf all the way into your hamstring now. Perhaps all the way up into your glute muscle. You got it. One more cycle. Lunge forward. The next time you lunge forward, wiggle your foot back in space just a couple inches, drop your right hand to the inside of your left foot, and then send your left hand all the way up to the sky, moving into a twist, a low lunge twist on this side. So your left knee is tracing directly over your left ankle. Left fingertips are up to the sky. Option here to send your gaze up. If that's too crunchy for your neck, look down at your other hand. Good. Check in with your knee. Make sure it's not splaying out. If it is, just gently remind it to align over top of your ankle. One more deep breath in. Good. Exhale, drop your hand to the inside of your left foot and then step your left foot back into downward facing dog. You got it. Inhale to look between both palms. This time, walk your hands back in space to meet your feet. So instead of hopping forward, we're moving back. Good. When you're there and in forward fold, grab opposite elbows, create a little bit of a micro bend or even a generous bend in your knees, and let it go. Imagine you came to this practice today with a backpack full of all your stress and worry, things you have to think about before you head into the week. What if you imagine that you unzipped the top of that backpack that you're wearing on your back and you're allowing all the contents to spill out, leaving them here on the mat today. Perhaps finding a gentle sway from side to side, noticing what that feels like in your hip joints. Avoiding excess pressure on your knees by having a little bit of a micro bend. Good. Release both hands down towards the mat. Good. Spiral yourself so that you're facing the long edge of your mat. Still folding forward. And then take one big giant step out with your right foot. So still folding forward here. Good. Okay, toes are facing the long edge of your mat. So the edges of your feet are parallel with the short sides of your mat. Walk your fingertips just underneath your face. Good. Micro bend your knees ever so slightly and begin to fold forward, imagining that a string is pulling the top of your head, your crown, down towards the mat. And when you're in a place that you feel balanced and comfortable with your knees bent, begin to walk your hands backwards in space. Perhaps they land directly between your feet. Perhaps you walk them back further than your feet. Option to turn your fingertips to face the back of your space wherever you are. If you're really feeling this tugging on your inner thighs and on your hamstrings, that's your invitation to invite a deeper bend into your knees. If you imagine the floor raising a little bit, it would be supporting your head. Good. Begin to walk your hands back to the center of your mat, so in line with your feet. And then just slightly forward to be underneath your face. Prop yourself up into a halfway lift here in your wide-legged forward fold. Good. Send your right hand up towards your right hip, your left hand up towards your left hip. Bend slightly into your knees. Take a deep breath in, engage through your core, and slowly begin to rise up, really using the strength of your legs here to support you. You got it. Good. Pivot your right foot to face the front of your mat. And then take a big step up with your left foot to meet your right foot. Inhale, lift all the way up towards the sky. Exhale, swan dive your arms, hinge at your hips, fold forward. Good. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Take a step back with your right leg. And a step back with your left leg. Pike your hips up and back into downward facing dog, our final one of today's practice. Stay exactly where you are with your left toes. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back behind you. This time, go ahead and take a peek at your right wrist. Okay, the space behind your right wrist is where your right knee is going to land. Inhale, slide forward, send your right knee directly to behind your right wrist. You got it. Walk your left foot back a few inches. Ground down through your left knee. Your right foot is on an angle in towards your body just for the time being. Good. A couple of options here. I'll show you all the bus stops. You can stay exactly where you are. That's bus stop 1. Good. Bus stop 2 is to grab hold of a block and begin to lower your forearms down towards the block. Fingertips facing forward. Bus stop 3, remove the block altogether, lowering your forearms down towards the mat. Perhaps creating a little bit of a pillow for your forehead as you begin to soften and release down and towards the mat. If you'd like a deeper stretch in the outer hip, prop yourself up for a second. Roll onto your right hip. And then align your right foot, your right shin, to be parallel with the top edge of your mat. So instead of your foot pointing inwards to the inside of your body, your right shin is getting closer and closer to being parallel. The straighter your right leg is, your front leg, the deeper the stretch you're going to feel in your outer hip. Wherever you are with your hands, whether fully up, whether propped up onto a block or all the way down, begin to settle in. Option here to stay tucked on your back toes or to release, moving onto the front of your foot, wherever you are. If this is too much of a stretch for your outer hip, don't forget that you always have the option to slide your right heel in towards your body, releasing some of that pressure on your outer hip. Good. We're going to stay here for 3 more cycles of breath in your pigeon pose. Perhaps for your last cycle of breath, you can see if your forehead can move a little bit closer down to your mat as you fully allow yourself to surrender. Good. On your next breath in, wherever your hands are, begin to walk them underneath your shoulders. Roll off your right hip. Tuck your back toes. Your left toes are tucked. Good. Pressing into your arms for support. And then lift off your left knee. So your knee comes off your mat, swinging your right leg all the way back in space into 3-legged dog. Extend your right foot all the way back. Good. Drop your right foot down towards the mat. Pedal out through both heels. Find stillness in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back behind you. Look to behind your left wrist. That's where your left knee is going to land. Inhale, slide forward, drop your left knee behind your left wrist crease. You got it. Good. Drop your right knee down towards the mat and then pick your bus stop. Are you staying up here exactly where you are? If so, beautiful. Perhaps you drop down to your elbows. Perhaps propped up on a block just to bring the mat a little bit closer to your body. Notice what feels good for you. And if you'd like to take the stretch a little bit deeper, begin to align your left shin more parallel towards the top edge of your mat. So in a straight line as opposed to a diagonal. That's not a requirement. It's just if you're looking to feel a little bit deeper stretch in your left hip. Good. Once you've made your selections, find a place where you can settle for the next 2 or 3 breaths. Breathing in through your nose, taking a nice, deep, nourishing inhale. Part your lips, exhale, sigh it out from your mouth. Letting your intuition guide you through your next couple of breaths. You got it. Wherever you are, meet us all together with your palms directly underneath your shoulder blades. Tuck your back toes, lift your right knee off the mat, and then slowly begin to swing your left leg back into space, moving into three-legged dog on this side. Extend through your left toes. You're going to drop your left foot down towards your mat. Take your knees as wide as your mat, drop them down towards the floor. Slide your toes into touch at the center of your mat and then center of your mat, and then sit your hips back down towards your heels. This time, take both arms, walk them back in space, and see if you can grab hold of your heels. If that feels a little too out of reach, just rest your palms down on either side of your knees. Softening here, beginning to slow our heart rate down as we wrap up the asana portion of the practice. Breathing in through your nose, out through your nose. You got it. On your next inhale, walk your hands forward on either side of your face, press yourself up, move through into a tabletop position. One here across your ankles, one on top of the other. Go ahead and sit your hips back into that space. You got it. Stay here for just a moment, closing your eyes. Feeling into your body. Where do you notice sensation? Where do you notice energy? Where do you notice softening? Begin to gently blink your eyes open. And when you do, take a look around your space. And ask yourself, is it true that right here and right now, in this moment, I am okay? Is it true right here and right now in this moment that I am safe? Good. Inhale, lift both arms up and overhead. You got it. Exhale, connect your hands at the top of your head. Draw your palms down through heart center and slowly begin to make your way into a supine position, lying down on your back. Our final resting posture in today's practice. Feet are extended out to the far edges of your mat. Toes are turning outwards. Take a moment to loop your shoulders underneath your back body. Notice how that lifts your heart up a little bit higher into space. Good. Palms are facing up towards the sky, ready to receive, attract the energy that you wish to carry with you for the rest of your day and into your next week. If you haven't already, and if it feels comfortable for you, allow your eyes to gently close. I'm going to guide you through a brief body scan as we wrap up today's practice. Inhale in through your nose, part your lips, and then exhale, sigh it out from your mouth. I invite you now to bring your attention to your face. On your next few breaths, take a look all over your face and notice if there's any tension, any places where you're holding onto tightness or stress, and let it go. Perhaps that means releasing your jaw, unclasping your tongue from the roof of your mouth and letting it just rest in your mouth. Perhaps softening the space between your eyebrows. Unclenching your teeth, allowing your neck to settle. And when you've done that, take a nice deep breath in. Exhale and sigh it out. Good, making your way down your body, take notice of your shoulders. If there's any clenching, lifting up towards your ears, see if you can wriggle your shoulders down a little bit to create some more space between your shoulders and your ears. And then your next breath, send it directly into that space. You got it. Breathe in and allow your attention through your chest. Softening any tension you feel through your chest. Continuing the flow of your attention down to your belly. Taking a deep breath in here into your belly. And exhale, imagine your belly deflating like a balloon. Letting go. Continue your attention down towards your hips, your thighs. Noticing if you're holding on or clenching, what it would feel like to let go. Abandoning the need to hold on tight, abandoning the need or the compulsion to resist and simply surrender. Good. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Finishing on the length of our body here, send your attention all the way down the rest of your legs, landing in your feet and your ankles. Notice if you're clenching your toes, perhaps release them. Release any tension along the soles of your feet and your ankles. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Settling into your body here, completely relaxed. Slowly beginning to deepen your breath, guiding your breath in through your nose, sending it all the way down to your belly, perhaps imagining that it's traveling all the way down to your toes. Exhaling, sighing it out. On your next inhale, begin to invite some subtle movement into your fingertips and your toes. Perhaps rocking your head from side to side, releasing any tension in the back of your neck. Lifting one knee up and then the other at your own pace. Hugging both knees in towards your chest, wrap your hands around the outside of your legs and invite a gentle rock from side to side. The next time you turn over to one side, allow both your knees to stay exactly where they are, using your palms to help press you up into a seated position, knowing there is no rush. When in a seated position, take a moment to remove the flash from the back of your hips, sit up nice and tall, extending through your crown. Invite your eyes to close just for a moment. Send only your right arm up and overhead. Take a deep breath in. Keep your right hand exactly where it is. And then send your left hand up to meet it. Your eyes are closed, so you must rely on your intuition, your self-trust that your left hand will make its way to your right. Allow this self-trust to guide you for the remainder of your day and into your week. Slowly draw your palms down into heart center. Connect your thumbs into your heart center. Slowly blink your eyes open. Inhale in through your nose. Exhale, part your lips. Exhale from your mouth. Thank you so much for joining me and guiding yourself on today's practice. I wish you nothing but peace and Zen for the rest of your week ahead. The light and the love in me bows to the light and the love in each of you. Namaste.